We're just going straight into it today. We're not even going to do a we're live waiting room. And you want to know why? You want to know why, you guys? Why we're just going to get straight into it? It is because I need some time to kind of get my thoughts out before I get into this, because I'm not going to lie. I have so many thoughts, and I'm going to try really, really, really hard not to do any spoilers for this stream. Because, okay, this is my first spoiler-free review, so I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. Just hop on, hop off, say what I want to say. So hello, hi everyone. I don't know what the ratio is of people who have actually seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet, but it is. I just saw it at like a 3:00 showing. I probably just got out of theater maybe like an hour ago, and it is so good. Like it is so. How can I talk about it without giving away any spoilers? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to talk about the things that were like covered in the trailer. Okay, we'll start with the general overview without giving anything away, but I would say first thoughts, first reactions from this movie is that it was a fucking incredible experience. And when I say experience, I mean that it was an experience. Like, it was an experience. It was so much fun. I had such a good time with it. Like, I just remember, like, I just kept sitting in the theater and like just almost like pinching myself. Like, I couldn't believe that all the stuff I was seeing on screen, I was seeing, and not like, okay, and I'm saying that to like give a big reveal. I was just really impressed with the way that they executed a lot of the things that happened in the movie, and it would into such an entertaining experience. Like, I just was like looking at it and looking around being like, oh my God, guys, we're all having a great time. Are we having a great time? We're having a great time, you guys. I did see it alone. I'm not going to lie. I did see it alone because I just don't have any friends that care as much as I do. Not around me. Like, because I'm the kind of person, like, rearrange your whole schedule to go see this movie. And I just like don't have anyone like that in my immediate circle. So I went and I saw it alone, but I was, doing some like the people around me, and the people in the theater, man, they were vibing. That theater was alive, and I could just, and that's what I like to do. I like to go see it on opening night to kind of get a feel for the audience. I just like to be in that energy. I like to be in the energy of people who are like really big super fans. And then I like to go see it again a little bit later so I can kind of get a pulse, kind of get a vibe for the reaction of the people. I just like to see how other people are reacting to the movie, because like I know my reactions. Like, I'm a simp. Like, I'm just like, woo. It doesn't take much to make me super happy in a theater, but I do like to see what other people ooh and ah at and get like really emotional and get really crazy for. But oh, hello everybody, welcome. And sorry, I didn't think, I just wanted to kind of get into the stream today. I kind of forgot to do the we're live waiting screen, so yeah, I just kind of hopped right in. But yeah, the theater energy was incredible. And you could just tell, like, it was like, going back to my original point, like, it was just a lot of fucking fun. Like, people were having a good time. They were like laughing and like, yeah, and like just cheering everything on. It was so cool. It was incredible. It was fun. It was for a third movie, meaning like for the third installment of essentially like one character story, which is, I was very impressed. And not that this, usually I would say, if we're going to be real about it, that usually where Marvel falls short is the sequel. And if I'm thinking about all three of them together, I would say Far From Home is probably my least favorite, but I was very impressed with what they did with the third installment of this character, and with a new and creative way of telling his story and evolving him as a character. I thought it was a really Guys, this is really hard to talk about with no spoilers. Some people are really good at this. Like some people are pros, but I'm sweating. I am sweating, you guys. I do not. I'm bad at doing the no spoiler talk. La, 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 la. I always say this delicately. I feel like this was, while we've seen Tom Holland's Peter Parker really become his own Spider-Man, you know, we got that like, come on, Spider-Man moment in the first movie. We have him fighting with the Avengers. We have him like figuring out his, you know, Peter Parker / Spider-Man identity in the second movie, in the Far From Home movie. This is like I would say this is the real Spider-Man movie, meaning like this is the movie where he becomes Spider-Man, or is like pushed or grows up as Spider-Man. I am walking a fine edge right now. I'm trying to like say it without saying it, but I do feel like this is the one where he grows up a little bit and becomes like the Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man, like he's a man, and he's gonna start really. This is the beginning of the next phase of his adult life where he's made some serious choices that are going to allow him to do what he needs to do. Okay, what else? What else is in the trailer? It was a lot of fun. He became a Spider-Man. Action sequences. Okay. Very impressed, and sometimes not so much. I guess I will say it was like a pretty 50-50 split in terms of like really good action sequences and just okay ones, but the ones that were good were fucking incredible. Like the ones that were good were really fucking awesome and super creative, and really, because like that's what I want in an oversaturated and you know what, that's what this movie did, like despite some things that, you know, maybe I think I really need to kind of like wait until I do my full spoiler Spider-Man review when I get back to really get into it. But it's like there were some things in this movie that were like not so great, but I have rose-colored glasses on right now. Like I can't even think about those right now because I just like I'm jazzing. I'm so high from the experience of seeing it. I can barely pinpoint those, but I know that they exist. But all you want in this oversaturated superhero genre that has done everything and anything like a million times, you just want to see a fresh and creative use of the powers and the dynamics that these characters have at their disposal. And I feel like there were some action sequences that made really, really good use of that, like really fucking cool use of that. And some that were a little bit, you know, run of the mill. But the ones that were really good, I think more than made up for it. In terms of what else is in the trailer? There's so much. Dude, I had such a good time. You know what? Okay, another thing that I always like bring up every single time I talk about movies and I do movie reviews is I talk about rewatch value. Yes, eyebrow raise. This movie's for sure got rewatch value. I'm gonna go watch it like a million times because it's got a lot of stuff that I missed. Obviously, I saw it opening night, so there are definitely a lot of like cheering in the theaters that I kind of wanted to be like, okay, yeah, woo, all right, shut the fuck up, you are allowed 1 second of cheering, just a woo, and then just cut it. So I do want to go back and hear everything for what it was and just like really pick it apart, and really there were like some things that I saw were like, was that who I thought it was? That I do want to go back and kind of analyze, and I do want to go back now that I've gotten all the shock value parts done. Like I've got all the surprises out, and the surprises were so good. But like now that I got that out my system, now I can just like watch the movie for what it was, and we'll see how I feel about it after that. But it was so good. I would say there's a lot of focus on Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and MJ in this movie, and it is Like I've said, stinking cute. Guys, they're so cute together. I know. Okay, I know that Hollywood PR relationships are totally a thing and that sometimes people just like get together for the PR of it, like cough cough, Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson, like totally PR relationship. That's just like an example of like celebs dating, but really they just kind of like are available for the paparazzi to cause up a stir for whatever, for clout, all that jazz. It's possible that they're one of those couples, but if they aren't, I think they're very cute together. I think I love this little young love, little Spider-Man romance that keeps happened for Andrew. And, oh my God. Why can't I think of her name? Emma. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Andrew Garfield and his lady, and then Emma Stone. Oh my God, there we go. Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, and then now with Zendaya and Tom Holland. It's so cute. And because that, I mean, if they are dating in real life, it makes sense. They have amazing chemistry. They're very cute together in this movie. I actually thought the writing of their relationship was very well done. I actually recently rewatched the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield movies because I really didn't remember that well. I hadn't really like spent any time with them since they first came out because they were like the best movies. They're not the best movies, but I went back and rewatched them, and like the MJ or the Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man romance in that movie, it's like good, but it's not great. The MJ and Toby, Kirsten Dunst and Toby is very like early 2000s, like very topical, very predictable. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2012 has like a little sniff of that, like it's still very, very run of the mill. But this one I thought it was pretty good. I thought the way that their relationship and like how they also brought in the relationship with his best friend, I thought it was really cute. I felt the relationships between, Peter Parker and his friends and his girlfriend and his family felt very genuine. So it made everything else feel a lot more, felt the weight of everything that was going on and all the hard choices he has to make. Daryn, keep it vague. Daryn, keep it vague. What else? Okay. Zendaya, Tom Holly, characters. Oh, okay, we can talk about some characters that were like in the trailer. God, this is hard, you guys. Hard. Who's in the trailer? Oh, okay. Talk about some people that were actually in the trailer. Alfred Molina. Amazing. So good in this movie. I've missed him. Does he do movies anymore? Like, what's he in? He's so good. He was so good in this movie because like, the first Spider-Man movie came out in like 2002, right? And it's very like early 2000s action flick where things are very cheesy, very corny, very on the nose. And he was great. But even in that era, he was really good. And he brought that same energy to this movie and it was still awesome. Like it still just hit and it landed. And I don't know if that's just like the overwhelming nostalgia gas that's just like pumping in my brain from me like simping for seeing like Alfred Molina on screen. But I actually thought it went really well. Maybe it was the writing, maybe it was the performance, maybe it was the nostalgia, maybe it's a mixture of all, but it was the perfect storm and it fucking worked. William Dafoe, though, is the real standout to me in this movie. Like Alfred Molina was fucking so good. I can't say enough good things, but like William Dafoe, like I forgot about this, bro. Not that I forgot about him because he's a fantastic actor. He's obviously like, very famous, very, accolades. Like people respect him as a thespian. But man, he brought it. Man, he like really, really brought it in this movie. I was surprised they didn't like lean into. This is going to spoil it. Yeah. Okay. Keep it vague. I felt like they could have, he was giving us a lot that I felt like they could have gone harder with, but they kind of like, it's like, they didn't want to get too hard into that Green Goblin crazy vibe, which I think was a shame because like he was so good in this movie, you guys. Like his little crazy like Green Goblin whatchamacallit like switching of the personalities, his laugh, oh, his crazy little face. William Dafoe has one of the most interesting faces in the world. It's so creepy, but it's like, I said this last week when I was talking about this, like William Dafoe's face is like one of those striking faces that is like creepy but beautiful, because like it's obviously beautiful because he's a movie star, and he wouldn't be a movie star if he wasn't beautiful, because I feel like humans inherently like to look at pleasant, aesthetically pleasing people. So even when people are not attractive in movies, they still have like a pleasant face, right? I think it goes a little bit beyond that. Like he's got like a striking face that is like scary but beautiful. And I forgot, I miss seeing his creepy little face. It was so good in this movie. The way he was delivering his lines was great. Although there's a lot of voiceover on his part. Sorry, and I'm just like, I'm trying to remember because I have so much in my brain. I'm also trying to like remember everything because there was so much. This is a very bold movie. This is a very, very ambitious movie, I will say. And a lot of those ambitions landed. I'm not gonna lie. They did a really good job, but it is a lot to remember. I'm just recalling that there's a like, for someone who is like serving us so many looks and so many like solid, incredibly engaging performances, there's a lot of voiceover on his side, meaning like they weren't like lingering on his face, which makes me feel like there was like a lot of reshoots, which is kind of making me think about other scenes that felt very reshooty. Yeah, there's actually a couple not a couple, I think there's like a lot actually that like feel very reshooty, or like they were trying so hard to keep the secret that they just like filmed everything separately, you know what I mean? Like, and everything was just kind of stitched together because they didn't want anyone to be in the same place at the same time. But I definitely noticed that in the movie for sure. Like, you know, when it's just like a person isolated with a green screen and it keeps going back and it doesn't even seem like they're talking to each other, that's when you're just like, are you guys even in the like, are you in the same room? But yeah, so there was a lot of that. I'm trying to keep it vague. Have I spoiled anything yet? I feel like I keep like I'm trying to talk about things without giving it away. I will say though, nope, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say a joke that me and Dan were just talking about, but that joke had a spoiler in it. I just realized, fuck you guys. Okay. William Dafoe. William Dafoe was in the trailer. Alfred Williams was in the trailer. Blizzard was in the trailer. Jamie Foxx was in the trailer. Oh, yeah. I didn't like Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man, and I didn't like him in this movie either. That dude just does not work for me. Like, I don't know what it is about that. I'm sorry, Jamie Foxx. No hate to you. I don't know, man. His performances never fucking land for me, and not just in these Spider-Man movies. They're just like too self-indulgent. It's this kind of, I get the same vibe from him where I get from like Jared Leto, where I'm just like, this dude would lick his own asshole if he could. And it just yeah, I don't know. Like, and it was not just his fault. Like the choices they made for his character / the writing for his character / his performance of it were, I don't know. I was not into it. He sucked. Like, his Electro was one of the worst Spider-Man villains. I thought it was so lame. And so when he came back in this movie, it was just as lame. So the boo. Who else was in the trailer? All the villains were in the trailer, actually, come to think of it. Sandman and the lizard dude. What? Yeah, they were both fine. They had more minor roles, which you could probably guessed. What else What else am I trying to say? Oh, you know what? This is non-spoilery. I speaking of all the villains in this movie, I was actually surprised. I was like pleasantly surprised how the villains were handled in this movie. Like I really thought it was just going to be like, you know, like, hey, look, it's Electro. Hey, look, it's a Green Goblin. Look at him, one line, whatever, or just like something really cheesy. But like all of them had like moments, and they were like, and they added to the progression of Peter Parker's, you know, growth and his story and how he interacted with them and how he interacted with their powers and how their experiences and like their worlds like affected his and like made, you know, Tom Holland like more Spider-Man the way, you know what I mean? Like just creating his whole Spider-Man, who he is as a man. I was like very impressed. I was just like, wow, man. Like, I don't know. It felt like this movie was like so fan servicey. Like, I mean, the amount of like applause breaks in this movie in the theater was ridiculous. But while it was a lot of fan service, it did feel like it was made by someone who was a real fan of Spider-Man. Like I felt the love for Spider-Man and the legacy of like all these films and like all this, just like this incredible characters had throughout the years. And I really felt that in this movie, and it was really sweet. And I really, really loved it. And I highly, highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it now before too many spoilers come out on the internet, because you want those wow moments. You want those moments where you're like with everyone else in the theater and you're like, yeah, woo! And you want to be like, okay, this isn't a spoiler because like, I mean, if anyone watches my stuff knows, I cry all the time when I watch movies. Like it just like I cry, and because I don't just cry at sad parts. I cry at happy parts. I cry at exciting parts. I cry at like moving parts. Like if any, like the best example I can always give of this is like I started crying during the fight scene in Civil War when they all like meet on that airplane hangar, because I was just so overwhelmed by how awesome it was to like see all those heroes on screen and then fight each other that I got so excited I started crying. And so this movie has a lot of that. I basically feel like I was crying for the second half of the entire movie with a mixture of all kind of tears. Like I was like happy and excited and sad and shocked and moved and then happy again, and then like but I just like basically couldn't stop crying. It was because like it was just so much fun, and it was so cool to see all the things that we were seeing. It was really, really cool. So I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Please go see it before all the spoilers come out so you can have that experience, because like you can't change that first time you see something, you know, like when you see something for the first time and it's shocking and you're like clutch your pearls and you clutch your heart and you're on a ride. Like this movie is a ride, and it's a fucking good one. It's a fucking good ride. And for such a bold and ambitious movie that wants to do so much and does so much, the pacing was actually like, it was good. I'm not gonna lie. Like there are obviously things that felt very like Avengers, like the Avengers Infinity War Endgame movies, where things that could easily be like way longer scenes or way more impactful, intense moments are kind of just like here, yeah, move on, here, move on, here, move on, and it cheapens it a little bit. But when you watch the whole thing together, you're like, you know, it's. I wish it was longer, but it's fine because like we got a lot of story to tell, and it wasn't bad, and I still get it, so like it's fine. Like there's a lot of that in the first half of the movie. They're like, here we go, this is when we're trying to like they go through it very fast, but it's fine. It's fine. It cheapens some things, and it makes some things where you're kind of like, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but like when you get to the end of the movie, you're like, who fucking cares if it makes sense? This is great. This is awesome. So, Yeah, dude, I'm excited to watch it again. I'm probably gonna watch it like a million more times. And then do like a full review on this. I also might. Ooh, is Daryn gonna make a YouTube video about this, comparing all the Spider-Man franchises? She might. She might. It takes a lot for me to make a YouTube video these days because those take me weeks, sometimes months to make, because I write like a 7 to 10 page essay on it, and then I research it, and then I edit it, and then I rewrite it in my talking voice, and I film it, that I edit. So they're a very long process, but every once in a while I make those videos when I feel so passionate, or like, so my first video I made because like I was having so many thoughts about Game of Thrones that I literally wrote an essay to make sense of like my brain, how fast it was going. And so now these days when like I have like a real I really feel the urge to critically analyze something, is not just like, because I'm not gonna make YouTube videos for like just a review, but if there's like a concept that I need to just like noodle at, and I think I might, but I need to see it like 5 more times to really get my stuff in it, get how I feel about it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there, or else I'm gonna spoil something. You guys, I think I'm gonna. I did a good job though, right? Okay, can you guys all like validate me and make me feel better, because that was my first spoiler-free review, and I was so nervous. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna talk about this movie without spoiling anything? Like, analyzing like the details of something like is what I do. Like I can't talk about it without talking about it. This is so hard, and I did it. Okay. All right, I feel it. Oh, we got some super chats coming in before we head out. Okay, Ron C. Thank you. These are very generous super chats. Krim, Ron, I appreciate it. Ron C says, hi, Spider-Man. The Spider-Man the movie has the best kiss scene. Spider-Man 2 has the best villain and fight scene. The runaway train scene. Spider-Man 3 has the best dance scene. I find the Raimi films more enjoyable. Thoughts on the Raimi films? Spider-Man 2 has the best villain and fight scene. Spider-Man the movie. Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing it. Spider-Man the movie, that was like the upside down kiss. And Spider-Man 2, you're talking about, you know, when Peter stops the train and then they all like pull him inside. Spider-Man 3 is the best dance scene. You fucking troll. You troll. You don't mean it. Like, unless you do. And the Raimi films are more enjoyable. Well, the Raimi films are like on another level, because it's hard for people to, it is a really hard thing to ask people to do as like a thought exercise, but like context matters. You know what I mean? Like when you think about things contextually, and Spider-Man 2 was such a trailblazer of a movie for that genre, that like it elevates it and separates it into an entirely other category in terms of Spider-Man movies. And not just to mention, like, it's a fucking incredible movie. And I still think Spider-Man 2 my favorite superhero movie. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that, but it's definitely top 3 for sure. Like the Spider-Man 2, I think, is a fucking perfect superhero movie. And that it can't be taken away. And like there's so much. So even with the incredible things they're doing in movies now, is what I'm trying to say, is like what that movie accomplished and how incredible it was during the time has to be acknowledged. Like it's like the same reason why you know, a lot of people regard the movie like Citizen Kane as one of the greatest films ever made. But if you watch it now, you watch this movie and you're like, okay, like it's a good movie, but it's like, it's a fucking movie. Like, what am I looking at here? It's just like a dude. It's like a story about whatever. But then when you like look up, like, why is this the greatest movie of all time? It's because all these actor choices and like cinematography that's used in this movie that we are so used to seeing, that we see every day and think nothing of, people saw for this first time in this movie and they were fucking blown away. You know what I mean? Like it truly changed the game and established a norm going forward for a lot of new movies. And it's the same thing with like, you know, why they use like I Love Lucy laugh tracks for like sitcoms, because it's like all those sitcom, you know, jokes that we've heard 700 million times. The first time they were ever done was on a show like I Love Lucy, and that laughter is so genuine because people were like, "That's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life." So, you know, that's what the Spider-Man 2 Raimi film, or the Raimi films in general, I think are encapsulate that. And then it's another, you know, as much as I don't like Bryan Singer for all the shit he's done to the X-Men movie franchise, I have to give him props for the X-Men movie, the 2000 X-Men movie, because it did the same thing. So, you know, that's what I feel. That was a very long response to that question. Next is Sir Krim. It's very good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in one of these streams yet in a while. So hello, man. Here's to you, Daryn. Glad to see you. Glad you enjoyed the film. I think anyone that watches it will. Plus fan service, but done well. Hits hard when it needs to. The fan reactions was beyond Endgame in my theater. And another $2 one. Thank you, Seth. Shout out to all the ladies and gents. Much love to you all. Well, it's really good to see you, man. And I totally agree with that. Fan service done well, hits hard when it needs to. And you know what? I think you're right. And maybe it's because it's such a fan servicey movie that like the reactions were there were so many reactions because there is so much fan service in this movie, but fan service that actually like lands and isn't super tacky, isn't like in the like I don't feel like an idiot watching the movie. That's like, you know, sometimes when there's fan service in a movie and you just like feel like they're treating you like you're an idiot, like this is not that, even though it's a lot of fan service. But because of that, there are just so many applause break moments. Like you can't help it. You're just like, wee! Like it never ended. So yeah, there was a lot of cheering in my movie, a lot of like audible reactions to things that I need to go see the movie without that, because there was a lot. And sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, what did he just say? Fuck, I missed it. I definitely missed a few lines because of the raucous cheering, but it was so cool. It was such a fun energy to be a part of. Mike Porter, hello, and welcome to another stream. I appreciate the support. Daryn, good job in the no spoiler review. Thank you. You know me, I love everything MCU, but this movie is the most fun I've had at a theater. MCU rules. Well, I very much appreciate that. Thank you for validating my request to be validated for my no spoiler review. I think I'm with you, man. I think I'm with you, Mike Porter. I think this might be the most fun I've had with an MCU movie too. Is it? Yeah, you know what? I think it is, because I would say a close second to it is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was a buttload of fun in theaters. Like that was a great time. That's up there with some of my favorite MCU movies. That one was just like a really, really good time. But the other movies that are like just as good, like the top MCU movies, in my personal opinion, they were good, but they weren't as fun. You know what I mean? Like Civil War is an incredible movie, but it's a heavy movie sometimes. So there's like a lot of times where you're just like, oh, like, ow, but in a good way, in a fucking good way. But it's just not fun, like wee fun. And this one is wee fun, roller coaster fun. So yeah, definitely most fun I've had in the theater. I agree with you. I'm with you on there. I am going to look over some of the things in the chat, and then I'm going to wrap it up for today. And then I sadly won't be back until like January 5th, which is going to be so hard not to talk about Spider-Man. Maybe I'll use that time to write a YouTube video, but it will be the holidays, so we'll see. I'm flying to New York on Saturday, and then I'm flying to LA from New York to be with my family. So Oh, I got stuff to do, so that's when I'll come back and I'll do my full Spiderman review. Uh, Graham says Thor Ragnarok was a good time, but this hit different. Yeah, you're right, dude. This one hit different. This one, whoo. This Mike Porter says Endgame was 11 years in the making. This was 20 years in the making. But I gotta say, like, Endgame was, it was like when I say that there was like they were like they weren't as fun, but they were still really good. You know what I mean? Like, this one's just like a good time. It's just a fucking good time. But that's not to say that there aren't like really intense, heavy moments, because there are some really heavy moments in this movie. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, you're gonna cry. Like, your heart's gonna be broken a little bit, a few times. And when you think, I mean, I was still expecting like a cookie cutter happy Spider-Man ending, and you don't get it. Like, this is a really good ending for this movie. I'm not gonna lie. It was very, very good ending. Oh, you know what I just thought of that was also good? God, I like how I was like, guys, I'm just gonna hop in here like real quick, and I'm just gonna say a few things, and I'm gonna jet right off, and it's like been 40 minutes, and I won't shut the fuck up. What's his fuck as J. Jonah Jameson? Why can't I remember his name? This is so disrespectful. I can't remember his name. You guys will tell me in the chat. He was so, the way that they ended up interplacing like the J. Jonah Jameson role in the movie was actually so good, and the way they updated it was actually really funny. Like, this isn't a spoiler, but they made him very like Alex Jones, Breitbart News. Like, even like it was like really well done. Like, it wasn't like J.K. Simmons. Yes, thank you, Darth Chaos. The way that they modernized J. Jonah Jameson to kind of be like this conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones Breitbart kind of figure was really, really creative and really well done. I actually really, really enjoyed it. That was awesome. Okay, I'm going to read a few things more. Abby K says, I was worried about it being too much, but it was done super well. And then I was laughing with tears streaming down my face multiple times. Abby K's, I agree with you on both those points, like 100%. I was like I said, when it's a super ambitious movie that was trying to do a lot and did a lot, and it was actually done very well. Like, what's his name? John Watts? Is that the director's name? He should be really proud of himself. I don't think he's like the best director out there, meaning like I don't like I can't tell if it's his movie. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you can tell what like a Taika Waititi movie is, a Joss Whedon movie, there's a personality, there's a style. Yeah, like a style. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a style to a certain director's kind of movies, and I don't really feel that way about him. But I was actually, the way he handled the pacing and the construction of this story was pretty good. Good for him. Good job. Or maybe that was more the editing and the producers. I don't know who it was, but they did a great job. I need to watch the movie again to get more thoughts on the actual like direction of it. But yeah, I was definitely crying and then laughing and then crying and laughing. And then like just literal, just like tears stuck to my face. That's basically how it was for the entire movie. Just tears stuck to my face. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Krim, thank you for bringing that up, because that's something I can talk about. That's not spoilery, that I do want to talk about. Tom Holland really did incredible in this movie. Like I'll have to go back and like watch his earlier stuff, but I feel like he's really, him and like some other people, like he really has grown as an actor. And I was blown away by his performance in this movie. Like, it was like his emotions and delivery, just like instant cry every time he was on screen, whether it was for good or for bad. Like, he just really connected with you as a viewer and as an audience, and he was so good in this movie. Like, he's the best Spider-Man, man. He's just such a good Spider-Man, and I'm just like, so like, he's such a good guy for this, you know. Like, I like Zendaya said publicly, like, he's like such a good Spider-Man, just like in real life. Like, he loves being Spider-Man. He respects the franchise. He loves the role as being Spider-Man as a public figure, like the way he interacts with kids, the way he holds himself, like, just, he's got great good guy energy. I think that's why everything that the universe, he just manifests, he gets everything that he wants because he's just such a good guy. And the universe is like, yeah, sure, you want to be Spider-Man? Yeah, be Spider-Man. You want to date Zendaya? Yeah, have her. She's great. And it's just such a joy to watch. Okay, now I think I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and bearing with me as I kind of stumbled a little bit through the spoiler-free review. I am going to watch it. Hair stuck in my lip gloss. I'm going to watch it like 100 more times and then do a full review where I get into the nitty gritty and the, oh my God, I'm like punching my microphone away from me. To the details of how I've thought about it after I take my rose-colored glasses off, because right now I can't. I feel like I'm giving a very biased review because I'm just so hyped. Like, I'm so hyped. It's such a good time. But we can really, look into it, give it a good look over, analysis. There we go. That's the real word. But I'm gonna be taking a 2-week break, or is it actually 3 weeks? No, it's only 2 weeks. So I'm gonna take off next Wednesday because it's before Christmas and I will be in New York, so I won't have like my equipment. And I can't, when I try to stream on my laptop, guys, it's a fucking struggle. Like, I try to do my when I try to do my laptop, it just, the quality of the stream, I think, would be hard to watch. It's very hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm not going to have my equipment. I'm going to be with Dan, and then I'm going to be with my family. So the next 2 weeks, I'm not going to be able to stream, but I'll be back on the 5th. We'll talk about Spider-Man then. I'll also, maybe I'll do a couple streams that week I get back, just to like make up for lost time. Talk about Hawkeye, like the show as a whole. Talk about Spider-Man. What about Boba? Is it out? No, it's out December 22nd, 29th. Oh, promise us a Boba vid. Okay, after it drops. Yes, of course. Oh shit! No, you're right. Boba is coming out. And that's in this little break too. Guys, this is not a good time to be taking a break. I'm not a very good internet personality taking a break. I can't take my big ass computer with me though, and I'm just like out here having a life and stuff. So it's not a great time to take a break, but I'm taking it anyway. I apologize. But how about, to make up for lost time, when I get back, I'll probably stream twice that week. I'll probably do either Tuesday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday. So I don't do like a 5-hour stream, and I'll talk about Hawkeye, I'll talk about Spider-Man, talk about Book of Boba, cover all the bases, make up for lost time. Maybe do some like members only streams, finally get that going. Oh yes! And I'm going to start getting that going after the holidays and I get my life situated. And yeah, that's all for now. You guys have been lovely. Thank you. We love you. I love you right back. Yeah. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the spoiler free. I was like, I want to talk about it, but then I realized I'm like, not everyone is a crazy person like me and wants to see it the minute it comes out. So everyone go see Spider-Man. Really get excited about it. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it when I get back. You guys all have a lovely, lovely holiday break. This is so much fun. I love you dearly. I can't wait to see you when I get back. I'll have literally so much to talk about. And so, yeah.